Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In this video, we are going to discuss about recently unveiled initiative by the Central Government of India is regarding the establishment of National Suicide Prevention Strategy. So we are going to discuss in details what is the framework of this particular strategy and what is the aims and objective that this particular strategies try to achieve. So first of all, the context in which we are discussing today's issue. Very recently, the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has unveiled National Suicide Prevention Strategy. It is the first of its kind policy that is formulated by the government to prevent suicide as a matter of public health priority. The National Crime Record Bureau, we have to understand that why this step was necessary step, because as per the data we have received from the National Crime Record Bureau, or NCRB in short, it has clearly said that if you talk about the particular year of 2022, almost 1.64 lakhs people have died due to the suicide, and this is 7.2% higher than the number that we have seen in year 2020. Thus, what we can say is the trend and the number of suicide deaths are continuously increasing, and it is the right step that government has taken to initiate such a strategy. So let us try to understand in details what this whole strategy is all about. So first of all, the strategy try to set the stage for promotion of mental health and prevention of suicides in a long term. Second, it will also try to reduce suicide mortality in the country by 10% in the following year, that is the year 2023. To give you again a fair idea, between 2020 to 2021, there has been a rise of 7.8% of the suicide rate, and this strategy try to decrease the suicide rates by 10% in the year 2023. Third, it will also have a set of frameworks that will ensure that multiple stakeholders, they have clear guidelines that what kind of activities they have to engage in, what kind of the steps they have to take to ensure that the prevention of suicides can occur. So this is overall a broad understanding as far as this particular strategy is concerned. Now, if you look at the detailed objective of this particular strategy, it has both short-term as well as a long-term objective. The shortest objective which you can see in the short term is for the period or in the period of 3 years, where it try to establish effective surveillance mechanism so that all suicide related deaths are properly reported and recorded in the government database. Not only that, the database will also try to initiate that what has been the major reasons or the factors that is driving the suicide deaths in India. Second, in the next 5 years, the strategy will try to establish a psychiatric outpatient department in all the district hospitals of India through the district mental health program, so that the palliative care can be provided to the people who are prone to suicidal tendencies and have high risk of committing suicide. Similarly, in the next 8 years, the strategy will also try to integrate the mental well-being curriculum in all the educational institutions of India, because right now we are focusing more and more on the matters or the subjects which can give us employment, but the subjects which can deal with the mental health and mental problems are missing from the school as well as educational curriculum of the higher education institutions. So that is something that also this particular strategy try to rectify. And last, overall, it will try to strengthen the surveillance of suicide as we discussed before, and further generation of evidences through the evaluation behind the suicide deaths. So this is overall, we can say, objective of this particular strategies in both short term as well as the long term. So let us try to understand how this particular strategy will be implemented and who are the stakeholders in this regard. So at the apex level, the whole strategy will be guided by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare at the Government of India. Then Ministry of Health and Family Welfare will have two stakeholders. One is the Secretary to the Government of India, and another will be Director General of the Health Studies. Then below them, we'll have the Assistant Secretaries and MDs at the state level in the Department of Health. We'll have the Principal Secretary of Health in the state government and the Mission Director of the National Health Mission. That will be the second stage stakeholders. Below that, we'll have at the district level under the National Mental Health Program, the DMHP, that is the main flagship program of this particular ministry. There we'll have district hospital, community health center, primary health center, as well as HWCs who will act as a major stakeholders. So we can see the whole strategy will be implemented by a three-stage manner, at the central level, at the state level, and then further at a district level. Not only that, the NIMHANS, which is situated in the Bangalore, will also act as a data gathering agencies as well as the center of excellences in different mental health hospitals will also be participating in this particular program. Apart from this, there are several collaborators that also have been identified, which will provide important and major inputs to this particular strategy. Such collaborators are various ministries, non-governmental organizations, civil society organizations. Will have a help from the community level health workers who are continuously interacting with a wide number of people, large number of population, local governments and the panchayat raj workers, academia, NKYS, NSS, and other youth clubs, as well as several faith-based organizations as well as media who will act as a collaborator in this particular strategy. So if you look at the overall structure of the organization, we can see a large number of stakeholders has been identified, and by having a comprehensive understanding of the suicide-related death, the factors, the reason behind this, we obviously can decline the number of the suicides in India. If we talk about the implementation mechanism of this particular strategy, what we can say, the implementation mechanism is based on principles of reinforcing leadership, partnership, and the institutional capacity in the country, as discussed in the last diagram. Second, it also tries to enhance the capacity of the health services to provide suicide prevention services whenever and wherever is required. And third, it will also aim to develop community resilience and societal support for suicide prevention and reduce the stigma associated with the suicidal behavior. Because one major thing we see in the suicide, that as far as when the suicide death occurs, a lot of people pay the attention to the death, but the event before suicides, the behavior of the people who have committed suicides are neglected to a large extent. And that is something we have to change. Only then we will be able to prevent the death related to this particular act. Now, if we try to understand it from the data terms or from the number terms, that what has been the status of the suicide deaths in India. So as far as the National Crime Records Bureau is concerned, it has clearly said that from last few years, more than 100,000 people have been continuously dying by the suicide. And in the past 3 years, the rate has increased from 10.2 to 11.3 per 100,000 population, which is obviously a worrying figure. And if we talk about between 2020 and 2021, almost 1.64 lakh people have committed suicide, which is 7.2% higher than the preceding year of 2020. If we try to understand that what is the age behavior or what is the age range where people have committed more suicide, what we can say, that maximum suicide, that is 34% of the overall deaths, has happened in the age group of 18 to 30. So that is obviously the age group which we have to focus more in this particular strategy as well. Then followed by just a slightly lower number, we can see 31% suicide has happened in the age group of 30 to 45, 18% of suicide has happened in the age group of 45 to 60, 9% has happened in the age group of 60 plus, that means the elderly population of India, and almost 7% suicide has also happened in the age group of 0 to 18. Now, this is something that is very, very worrying figure, because by the time a person or individual reaches the age 18, he do not have any kind of responsibility. He is still in the adolescent phase where he is either enrolled in educational program, enrolled in school institutions, or is on the verge of entering into the college or university education. So suicidal deaths in this age clearly says that there is need also to have a fresh look on what kind of competitive behavior the children are faced with today, and what should be the necessary changes that can be made there. So that is all about in terms of data. Now, obviously, this particular strategy is not the only initiative that government is focused upon as far as the suicide prevention is concerned. Earlier also, we have many policies such as National Mental Health Policy that has been unveiled by the central government, where the health policy clearly sees prevention of mental disorder, reduction suicides and attempted suicide as its core priority areas, and many work has been done in that regard as well. So some initiative has also been taken in the area of legislation, where Mental Health Care Act 2017 was amended, and finally it was enforced in year 2018. The major changes that has been made by this act is it effectively have decriminalized the attempted suicide, because before this act, attempted suicide was a punishable behavior and a person could have been arrested under section 309 of the Indian Penal Code. So that was something that did not make any sense, because the person is already trying to commit suicide, and after if he has failed, you put into jail. That means it is not giving him rehabilitation, is not giving him the proper environment and guidance as is required. And that is why Mental Health Care Act was one of the most revolutionary act that government has done in the area of preventing the suicides or taking care of the mental disorders. Third, we have several initiatives that is also being run at the district and the state level, such as National Mental Health Program. We have National Palliative Care Program, Ayushman Bharat Scheme, as well as Nasa Mukti Abhiyan Task Force to take care of the people who are showing suicidal behavior due to non-availability of the drugs which they are addicted. So what we can say is that if we talk about the word suicide, obviously it gathers or gains a lot of attention. But the truth is that suicide catches everyone's attention. However, the actions that lead up to suicide that go largely unnoticed. And unless and until the government, the local government, state government, as well as the local officials, unless and until they do not take care of this particular aspect, the prevention of suicide and its decline will become very, very difficult task. So I hope you understood about the concept behind this strategy, the reason and need of this strategy. So if you like the video, please hit the like button, share it with your fellow aspirants, and subscribe to our channel for more helpful content. That is all for this particular session. Thank you.